That work?
Hey, Brian.
Tom, is that you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
There you go. All right, cool. Full disclosure, I dropped my phone after I spoke with you earlier, and so the Wi-Fi is not working, but I have it on cellular. So it's good? Came
So
through.
far.
Okay.
Hey, you know what? And thanks for the product placement, man. I appreciate it.
That was not planned, but that's good though, right?
You probably are
both of these.
Yeah,
right?
you're like the first guest in a year and a half that's actually placed a Tom Rick product behind them.
Oh, there you go.
Other than me.
Yeah, that the depositor is like a lifesaver. Oh my God. We could talk all about that. But.
It's funny, a very famous chocolatier other than you posted an Instagram video this like 2 weeks ago with it. And like people are like, do you have those in stock? Like, yeah, we always have them in stock. Like, I need one of those. Like, okay, cool.
People are still, I mean, they're very popular, yeah?
Yeah, but like we haven't, but you know, I mean, most people had them, but then like the people that wanted them had them. And then like a certain person in Kansas City posted a video of him like depositing caramel with it. And people were like, I have to have one of those. Like, Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
Well, the true thing is, I mean, we do truffles, so everything is deposited in the truffle shells. But I think Lauren saw Christopher doing it in a molded frame. Molded frames.
Right.
Great. It has 8 slots, so yeah. That's one of those things you see it and you're like, why the hell am I not doing this? So.
Right. And then you negotiated the crap out of it with us. Like, exactly. Hey, I think like in your typical, I think you let her negotiate the crap out of it.
Yeah, Lauren's the business side.
Okay, so I'm going to tell a story about my friend Tom Shasha because Tom sends me a text message on Mother's Day. Go figure, he sends me it not like his mother-in-law, not like his daughter's boyfriend's mom. Sends me a message on Mother's Day like, hey, I wanted you to extend a happy Mother's Day to your wife, which was really nice of you since you've never met.
Right.
And when did we meet? Did we meet in Valley Forge? And I didn't respond, so I'm sorry I didn't respond.
I know.
But no, we didn't meet in Valley Forge. We met in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Atlantic City?
Probably 2005.
Okay.
4?
Very
something
early
like that.
on. Yeah. Okay.
And you were early. I mean, you were in business though, right?
I guess nascent for a long time. I mean, 9/11 is when everything started after that, but I was scooping truffles with a melon baller and rolling them like hundreds, and then it became thousands. And then, I think having met you at the show, I think that's when the depositor came into play. And Lauren saw it, and she came by your booth, and she said, we need this. I'm like, I'm okay with what I'm doing. She's like, oh my God. And then we were talking, and you're like, dude, no, you need this. And it's a life changer. So, yeah.
Cool. So let's rewind a little bit.
Yes.
Like early on in the business, before that, you were definitely not a chocolate guy. You were doing other stuff.
Never planned on being a chocolate guy. Thinking about this, and we were going to talk today.
Hey, Sydney says hi. Is she? Which one is she? Is she the budding lawyer, or is she surviving the undergrad?
Sydney, the graphic designer.
Got it.
I can't look at those notes. I get too nervous. Hi, Sid.
Dora.
So I don't forget who said it, but we're the sum total of our experiences. The first memory I have of food was a pastry. My grandfather, when he came from Italy, he met friends in New York, and they stayed in New York, and he moved out to New Village, New Jersey, a little town in central Jersey. But every holiday season, they would send my grandfather the typical pastry box with a string around it. And I think I must have been 5 because I couldn't see the pastry box from standing there. I had to climb up on the chair. And I remember my mom saying, you can have anything in here, but you can't have that one. And I said, well, what's that one? And I swear to God, I remember this like yesterday. She said, well, that has rum in it and you're too little. I said, okay. So when no one was looking, I got a fork and I went into the rum. Dude, it was so insane. I remember it like I just had it. It was rum-soaked pastry. Like literally, that's the first memory of food, and so that it was amazing. And I grew up in an Italian family, like just constantly surrounded by food. And my mom, every Sunday, we'd have a table sitting for 30 people at least, and she would make 7, 8 desserts, and just unbelievable. I mean, she loved to cook, but she baked like crazy. So
that's the difference, by the way, between growing up in an Italian family and an Irish family. There was no dessert on the table, but there were like, 47 boiled vegetables.
Oh yeah, no dessert?
Actually, that's not entirely true. My grandmother, who was not the Irish person in the family, right, was Pennsylvania Dutch, used to make a angel food cake that was like eating a cloud, right? But she'd only make like one, and like you had to scrap for some of it. Like, if you got up from the table before it got served and then you came back, don't count on there being any there to be there, right? Because it just wasn't.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny. Like, one of the things that I've learned doing this program is that we all have, we're in food for a reason, right? And we all have these, like, how'd you put it? Everything got us to right here.
The sum total of our experiences. That's who we are.
And it's just, I think food is one of those. It's one of those things, right?
Yeah, and I think the other thing tied into for me, my grandfather had a liquor license, and when my mom got married, he transferred that to my mom. So my father he built the house from scratch. He's amazing, and they put on a liquor store. So the liquor store was actually attached to our home. It was like a whole separate thing. But when a customer came in, a bell would ring, and during the holiday time. My mom and dad would have the customers come into the house, and they'd have eggnog and do shots, and it was just, there was constantly people around, happiness and food. It was it. And I'll get to where I'm going, but then, so another point in my life, when Lauren's mom moved to Florida, she always wanted to go to La Bec Fin in Philadelphia. It was Georges Perrier when he was there, it was open. So we said, oh my God, we're gonna take your mom, we'll take my parents. And the food was phenomenal. I had salmon. It was incredible. And Rocco, not Bob Bennett, but they made this puree, sweet potatoes. Okay. Unbelievable. So it's stuck in my mind. But when dessert came, they brought a dessert tray. And in La Bec Fin, you could have whatever. Yeah. You could have. It was the cart. Everything. Oh my God. And it stuck with me. And I thought I brought tears in my eyes because I thought this is so amazing. Again, it stuck with me. And for Lauren's birthday, all through our marriage, I bought her dessert cookbooks, chocolate, whatever it is. She's like, oh, you got me another dessert? Great. She loves to cook, hates to bake. So I guess we're getting to the point of 9/11. We were well established with our graphic design business.
I know part of the story. So you're outside of Philadelphia, right?
Right.
At this point, you have young kids.
Yeah. 5 and just.
Muy pequeño.
Yeah.
Niños. Yeah. I've been working in Spanish the last couple of days, so I'm like.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's how much I know. Right. And I can swear in Italian. But yeah, we had a handful of really great clients like SAP and Deloitte, but let me backtrack. That summer, I think I was getting a little disillusioned with graphic design, and I started a garden. My grandfather taught me how to do tomatoes, and he had a huge farm. We had 500 tomato plants, pepper plants. So he taught me all that stuff, and so I kind of went back to that, like, oh, this feels so good to like use your hands and the soil, and so we had tomato plants and all this stuff, and then. Lauren and the girls went to Florida to visit her mom, and I had more design work to do. And I said, you guys go, and then I'll come down on the weekend. So, I'm a visual guy, Bryce, so I have props. Is that okay?
That's fine.
So Lauren said, go to the bookstore, even though you have 1,000 books, go and get some fresh books and for the plane, whatever. So I got 2 books. I got one, a bread book, and I got this, everything backwards, but The Art of Chocolate. So on the way down to Florida, I read the bread book. On the way back, I did the chocolate book and flipped through that. When we came back, I started making bread, my own sourdough. I was, you know, so passionate about it. And I was making 6 loaves of bread every 3 days and feeding the barn at night and doing this whole thing. And then it got to be like, okay, that's crazy. I can't continue this pace. So then I thought, let's do the chocolate. So I started making like little pastries for my clients. And then I think I got into the truffle book. Lauren volunteered me to do something at the school for the girls. I'm like, Laura, what are you doing? She's like, you'll do it. You'll love it. You're passionate about it. I'm like, all right. So I made these truffles from the book. And if you can see the book, I mean, it's kind of crazy because some of the truffles, the look, it's the same look that I have still to this day. So they look like asteroids. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And this is when I went to one of the shows. I don't know if you were there or not, but that same summer, it was September, wasn't it? Early, I don't know.
It would have been early September. I mean, it was pre-me with Tom Rick.
Okay.
I think because we met probably the next winter when it moved to New Jersey.
Okay.
Would be my bet.
So I had to I wasn't a chocolatier. I wasn't a chocolate company. So I'm a graphic designer. So Lauren said, we'll make up a chocolate business name. Okay. Shasha Chocolates, whatever. So I thought, I'm going to get put in jail though. It's not real. So I went to the show and got in.
And Tom's talking about the Philadelphia Candy Show, which is sort of a staple of mid-Atlantic American confectioners for the last 50 years.
Right.
For those not from the Mid-Atlantic who may or may not know about it.
Exactly, right. So, and there was this ChocoVision. They had the little machines, and they had a big machine, and there was a little machine. It was like a 2.5 pound chocolate. And I said, what does that do? That's something that you can melt the chocolate and it keeps it in temper. And what is temper? Well, you have to raise the temperature and bring it back down. And I'm like, oh, what the hell? I went out in the car and I called Laura and I said, Laura, chocolate, you apparently have to raise it up and bring it down and then use the word. She's like, what? I'm like, I know. I don't want to do this. I just want to melt the chocolate. And I said, should I get it? Because it could help me if we really do this. She's like, just get the damn thing. You have it. You'll have it. It's, And I remember the chocolate spilling out on the back end. I'm like, what the hell? So I do nothing, literally. And I just kept working through it because I had a deadline of the damn school, the girls' school function. And I mean, that's how it kind of started. So
the rest is history, as they say.
It is. So 9/11 happened, and then I was kind of into it. Then I thought, we had it like SAP and Deloitte, and we bought them elaborate gifts, and it didn't feel right. The whole life was not the same. And I said, I'm going to make stuff. I'm going to make little things. I'm going to make little pastries, and maybe I'll do some truffles, and I'll give that as gifts. It went over so well. Eventually, they wanted it for their clients, and so it became this thing like, all right, so then we got to come up with packaging now and make it really cool. And, we're still doing the graphic design. We're still making it happen. But I remember I went to New York 2 days after the towers fell. And I remember walking through it, and there was like just the white dust everywhere. And it was just absolutely unbelievable. And I knew life would never be the same. And I went to the meeting with SAP, and they said, guys, budgets are frozen. We don't know what tomorrow's going to be. Everything's pretty much on hold. And so that, again, the impetus to have the time to make them, these chocolate truffles and things. Word kind of got out that we were doing it. And I remember sitting in the office with Lauren, and the phone rang. And when Identiphone was a ring, or whatever the hell it was called, Identiring, I don't know, you could tell who's calling.
Caller ID.
Caller ID, thank you. And it was Four Seasons Hotel. And I said, oh my God, Laura, Four Seasons Hotel's calling. So pick up, and she said, hey, this is Marge Crozier. I'm from Philadelphia, Four Seasons Hotel. We have a gift shop. I love your packaging. I saw it out somewhere. Would you be willing to do, wholesale for our gift shop? I said, okay, when? When do you want me to come? And honest to God, Brian, I can draw a tree of the branches of where everything, meeting Marge, having the stuff at Four Seasons Hotel. And then they asked me to do tastings on the weekend. And then they wanted me to go to a restaurant and butler truffles around for Mother's Day. And I met some amazing people. I get choked up because it's how life changes, you know what I mean? And so then we started doing parties and things like that, and it just kept growing from there. Yeah.
I think I'm struck by where you opened this conversation. So like that whole thing is spinning in my head, and my way of looking at that is that everything I've ever done has gotten to me to right here, right now.
Right.
Right. So the good decisions I've made, the extra year in college, every decision, good and bad, has gotten to me right here. And there's
right.
no Bernstein Bears alternate universe. There's no
right.
there's I didn't have another choice, right?
Right.
It's not
right.
like if I'd gone that way, this would have happened.
Right.
I didn't go that way. So that's wasted energy.
Right.
How I look at it,
Right. Right.
If I'd only gone to this college, like that's BS, right?
Exactly. Right.
But what I think is kind of interesting, and like seeing you be we've known each other 15 years, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like I know how passionate you are about everything you do, but like your business and your confections and your family, and like it's all kind of like together, right?
Right.
But people, and the people that I've had the pleasure of talking to for the last year and a half, like COVID hasn't been good. Like I'm not claiming that it's been a storm, and I've been much more fortunate than some of my peers, and like I am grateful for that.
Right.
And I'm grateful for that every day. Like I really am. But like one of the things I'm really grateful for is that I've had the opportunity to do this.
Right.
Like this, like introduce a whole group of people to people that I know love what they do.
Right.
Right. So like, Bliss was just, I watched the scroll. Bliss is here. Right. And like, I know how passionate Jessica is.
Right.
Like I know how passionate, like some of the people that I'm watching names are, and I know how passionate you are. Right. And like, we're passionate about food, and we're passionate about chocolate, and we're passionate about sharing those experiences and being involved in those people's lives.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
Because when you're creating bread, like when you're creating 6 loaves of bread a week, that's cool. Like, but if you don't share it with somebody,
Right. That was the other thing. There needs to be an avenue for all this stuff. You can make it, but great. Well, who the hell is what are you going to do with it all?
Right, but it could be your family. I mean, I think like you're talking about like, that box of cookies.
Right.
Like that's sitting around the family table with food. Yeah. Even if it was 7 different boiled vegetables. Right. Like it didn't matter that the lettuce had bacon grease on it. Go figure.
Right. But you were sharing experiences and sharing each other and the company and the love, and that's all,
Right. And I know you participated in the class this week, and like watching like Gonzo this week, who loves what he does.
Yeah.
Right. Like you love what you do. I know it's hard. Like, and we're going to talk about how hard it is in a minute. Like, and I know the last year's like kicked your ass.
Right.
Like time wise and like all that stuff. I mean, you've weathered the storm okay, and you've landed on your feet, and you guys have transformed your business because you had to, because as I think you told me, you had like college bills to pay. Like if nothing else, like you didn't want the kids kicked out of school.
Yeah, we were closed, for 4 months, and that led to the whole redesigning the website. I don't want to interrupt where you're going with the whole.
No, that's all I had.
So, I mean, the whole thing about, art is, I'm an artist, as you're an artist, as we're all artists, as we do this thing, because we're still creating. So some of the things that I wanted to talk to you too about is that when I went to college, I painted. This is a painting. This is a small photograph, but this is a 4 feet by 6 feet, oil painting. So, and I grew up around corn stalks, painted when I was 10 years old. I got a painting set for Christmas, and I painted like, that was it. And every single day it was painting. I come home from school, I paint, and I absolutely loved it. So, again, I still feel like I'm doing art, you know what I mean? But it's after 9/11 happened, it was looking for a different palette and a whole different animal.
Which is interesting. I don't want to get too far down the rabbit hole about that. It's interesting that like 9/11 transformed you.
Right.
Right. Like, you went from being a graphic designer to a confectioner.
Right.
Because of 9/11.
Exactly.
And COVID was really transformative for your business 20 years later, right?
Oh my God. So before COVID, we had a website that was administered by another designer. And I'm a graphic designer. I can lay out a brochure, I can do any reports, logos, whatever. When it came to the website, I'm like, So I found this person. I said, here's what I want the website to look like. And I would do these elaborate layouts in my layout program. Like, I want the type here and this font. And she's like, yeah, no. What do you mean no? Like, I can't do that because, you got to format and code. Well, can't you make it look like this so I can get close? It was just so off. So anyway, long story short, up until COVID happened and we closed down, I was relying on somebody else to take care of my stuff, and I couldn't make something today and put it up tomorrow. It was just, I didn't have any access. I'm on vacation. Well, I'll get to it later. Like, it was just so frustrating. So anyway, we closed March 13th or 14th, I guess it was. And
yeah, that week.
Yeah, everybody did, I guess. For 2 weeks, I sat on my kitchen island, 18 hours a day, literally building a website from ground up. And I knew nothing when I started. I'm like, what the hell am I going to get through this? But we had no choice. We were closed. We had all this product too, actually. So I figured it out. I rephotographed everything. I figured it out little by little. And I did one thing. I'm like, oh my God, I could do this, and then apply it to another thing. There you go. And we launched in 2 weeks. We went live on March 27th, I think it was, a Friday night. And then we started hearing like cash register cha-chings on the phone. Like, Lauren, what the hell is that noise? She's like, I don't know. Orders were coming in. I'm like, oh my God, people are actually ordering. We must have gotten like 50 orders that night. And honestly, it hasn't stopped. People were so kind, and I can't get Barbara Walters emotional on you here, but
no, but I asked you to do this months ago. Like, I'm like, Tom.
I know you did, and I'm so
like,
sorry.
Tom, no, that's okay. But like, you're like, Brian, you don't understand, man. Like, we're up to our elbows in alligators here. Like,
That's
we're
crazy.
like we're crazy busy, right? I mean,
yeah. And I felt so bad not being able to do it. I just wasn't there, and we couldn't even, because it was just Lauren and me doing it. Gail and Anna, there was 4 of us, and that was it. So, but it was kind of the best thing that ever happened, because now I can make something today, put it on the website tonight, and ready to go. You know what I mean? I can photograph all the stuff, and it is unbelievable to have that power at your fingertips to make something and to get it out there. Because we made stuff for so long, nobody really saw it until we went to the other location in Stockton. We started that in 2010. But again, it wasn't only the customers at Stockton were seeing that product, and it has transformed our business for sure. It's maybe a third now of everything.
When it was 0, right?
When it was 0, a couple things here and there for holidays, and people would ask us like, "Oh, your Valentine's must be so awesome." Like, no, because I can't make the Valentine's Day stuff and photograph and get it up there because it's just too complicated, and I can't do it the way I want. So, yeah, it's been absolutely amazing, and people are still ordering, even though things are kind of getting back. So, I'm not sure what.
I think, but Tom, my interactions with you, that's kind of your MO. like you've told this story about, you know, the world dealt you kind of a bad hand. Like, okay, because I'm constantly learning and I'm constantly doing stuff, I'm going to move on to this next project. So I don't have to be a graphic designer. As much as I love being a graphic designer and it
Right.
makes me happy, I
Right.
have this other thing that I can do.
Right.
And yeah, the four season doesn't call all of us.
Right. Right.
Right. I mean, so there's a little bit of shine there somewhere, right? I
Right.
mean,
Right.
but that only happens, like, I'm going to wax a little. Like, I think luck only happens to people that make it happen for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, like,
It's work. It's
right. Like, look, I got to buy a lottery ticket if I'm going to win the lottery.
right.
Right. Like, I got to put in a little bit of effort. Like,
Right.
you know, I'm not going to, like, I don't know. I think what's interesting, Tom, is that, you know, where we've really met, where we've spent a lot of time is on innovation, and
Right.
you're out there taking classes all the time, and you're out trying to learn what you can.
Right. Right.
And I don't think I have the wherewithal to sit down at my kitchen counter and learn how to code in 4 days.
But if you had to,
Maybe, yeah, like maybe. I think, you know,
like here for me, like there was no income. Like everything, we shut both places, so there was like nothing. And like, oh my God, what the hell? So we saw, and we honest to God, I thought we were going to only be closed for 2 weeks. I mean, the governor said, you know, give it 2 weeks. I recommend everybody, you know, oh my God, right? And then, wow, 4 months later, you know, it was back up again.
yeah.
Slowly.
I mean, I think that's, yeah. Apparently we're not, somebody's telling me not to talk about lottery tickets, so I won't. I don't know why, but
Okay.
I won't.
I wanted to talk to you too, Bart, about with graphic design and what you guys are so amazing at.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, you know what? Wait, hold on.
Hey,
So,
quick question about the website, because somebody asked, what did you build it in?
Shopify.
So the whole site's built in Shopify.
Yeah, you basically pick a template, spend a lot of time to go through and find something that you really think, oh, I could adapt this. But you start there picking a template, and then it's kind of plug and play. I mean, somewhat I was a little bit familiar with it because of the graphics and stuff like that. So, you know, photographing pictures in square formats for products, and then you need horizontal shots for spreads and things like that. But yeah, Shopify.
I mean, but you haven't. So somebody's asking, what did you like about it? What don't you like about it? But
What's that? Shopify?
you haven't worked. Yeah, but you haven't worked in another format, right? I mean, like, you kind of like.
Can I just tell you that I love it. WordPress was the other website that we had that was clunky, and the designer said, "You're never going to be able to figure this out." She sat with me for 2 hours one day. I'm like, she left. I'm like, she's right. What? Like, where do I even go? Shopify. If anybody's out there, there's other ones too. I mean, there's a monthly fee you have to pay plus transaction, whatever. I don't know. But
that's Lauren's problem.
Yeah, Lauren does that. Yeah, I claim I'm the artist. You know. So yeah, so I hope that answered that question.
And the shopping cart, pretty easy to handle?
Yeah, I mean, they give you codes. It's a little wonky towards the end because you have to certificate, but they handle a lot of stuff and they tell you kind of what to do. Their customer support is great. It was amazing during COVID because I would call up and, hello, what do you need? Now you have to put a code in because I think everybody and their mother is doing their own website, and rightfully so. But oh, Brian, before I forget, you know that the story about being 5. When I think I was like 7 or 8 years old, and I have this since. This is Tootsie Roll maker. It's a form. You put the Tootsie Roll in here, right? Tootsie Roll in. Put the mold. Put it down.
Is that a monkey?
What's that?
Was that a monkey?
It was. I'll show you what it looks like. And then you push down, and it extrudes into the mold. I was in love with this thing. And here's the monkey, done in chocolate. But
So you were going to be a confectioner from like early on. Like the cards were set
seriously, like I absolutely loved it. And I thought that, my mom and dad gave me like these Tootsie Rolls, and then remember the colored ones, the fruit ones, or whatever the hell they were, but they seemed harder. I'm like, this is not good. I'm going to break this thing. And I was real crazy with all my stuff. Like I still have it for a lot of years. So before dinner, I put the Tootsie Rolls on. We had a heater in the kitchen, like had little slats in it. So I put them on there, and I cranked the thing up all the way up. And at one point, somebody's like, "Holy crap, it's hot in here!" I'm like, "Oh God, I forgot." So they kind of melted into the whole thing. It was a mess. But anyway, making them soft and extruding them worked out perfectly. They went into the mold perfectly, and it was great. I love that. And anything with goop, shaker maker, sand art, spin art, I love that stuff. My youngest sister Tina had an easy bake oven, and I would say, T, you want to crank up some of those cakes today? And the process of mixing the powder and the water, and putting it in, and the light bulb would heat it up, right?
They were this big, right?
Yeah. But I remember the taste. I'm like, this is pretty good. And I loved it. And my older sister Joanne, I had two older brothers, and then older sister Joanne. My screen went dark a little bit. Is it still good?
I can see you.
Okay.
You're good from where I sit.
Okay. My sister Joanne had a creepy crawler machine. Oh, freaking love that thing. Put the goop in the mold. Amazing. So I loved all this thing, but I never ever thought that I would, do this. But then, like I said, 9/11, the whole thing happened. So when I went to college, I showed you the painting. I wanted to be a painter. I told my parents I wanted to do oil paintings, and like, yeah, no. What next? So this woman came when I was a junior in high school.
Your grandfather didn't come all the way from Italy for you to paint pictures.
Yeah, I think they said to me, what street corner are you going to live on? I'm like, oh, God. So anyway, I found a college that I love biology. I thought maybe I would become a doctor or maybe a medical illustration. This woman came to my high school and said, we have a medical illustration program. I said, that's pretty cool. It's art. It's kind of medicine. It's neat. Make my parents happy. So then I don't know if you can see this, but I studied medical illustration. Loved it. And then my junior year in college, I was awarded an internship at the University of Pennsylvania in their medical illustration department. Everything was great. I would go to the morgue and do liver sections and all these things. And one day I'm sitting there and I'm drawing. And as a medical illustrator, you draw what you see. You have to, there's no messing around. So I was drawing this liver, and it was like a brick red. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to make it purple and going to make it real cool. I made it impressionistic. I got back at the end of the day, went back to the University of Pennsylvania and the office, and director said, what is that? It's a liver. It's my interpretation of a liver. She's like, no, you have to draw what you see. And I said, you know what? Today I realized that I don't want to do medical illustration anymore. But what I did love is I had to apply letter press type event. You rub down the letters and do the call outs, the different things, the renal cavity and blah, blah, blah. And I realized that that's kind of cool. So when I went back to my senior year, I thought graphic design, I should just finish up in graphic design. So at that point I had anatomy, physiology, I had histology, chemistry, I had all this stuff, but to be close to a pre-med except for the math, which I hated. So anyway, I finished my degree in graphic design, and my senior thesis, we had to do a senior thesis that year, based in your topic. And so the year I became graduated, there was a castle on campus that became a National Historic Landmark. So I thought that's a cool way to promote the college. And these beautiful gargoyles were sculpted out on the facade. Amazing. So I photographed them and silk screened them. These were all hand-done silk screens. 60 colors altogether, 12 different images, and it was great. That was my thesis. And then 1991, I think, I thought, holy crap, maybe I can get this published for real. So I sent 3 letters out, and this Tidemark Press in Connecticut sent a letter back. The other 2 were like, nah, that's not our audience. Tidemark sent it back. We were looking for something like this, kind of unique and different, and we'll publish it. I thought, oh my God, Laura, we were married a year, I think. And I said, we're going to retire. We're going to be famous. This is so cool. Well, I got a nickel per calendar. And I think I bought most of the calendars because I would go to the bookstore like, oh my God, there it is. So, but I have another point of the story. So this gargoyle right here, can you see that?
The purple one.
The purple?
Yeah.
I want to do a series of 12 plaques, chocolate, and I had you guys do the first impression mold of that face. 3D, so cool. I don't know how the hell you did this. I was working with Sean. I don't know how that was done. So cool. And here
we probably sculpted it.
Out of what though?
Either it would have been either done on the computer in CAD, or it would have been sculpted out of clay to start with.
It's so cool. So cool.
Yeah, it is kind of cool. I see stuff happen all the time. And I'm just like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So the problem of being so busy is all these other side projects that I have. It's hard to get back on them. But
anyway, so so you've got this kitchen that you're sitting in right now.
Yep.
And you have what's the status of the Shasha Empire right now? With retail space, and I know you had retail space, and you did farmers markets, and you did all sorts of stuff. Yeah, and somewhere along the way, you started doing cookies.
The macarons. Okay. So let me answer your first question. So yes, we have 2 locations, one in New Hope, one in Stockton, New Jersey, right along the Delaware. They're 10 minutes from each other, 2 completely different markets. We were at Stockton for 10 years at that location, and I was there every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I would make everything Monday through Friday. And let me tell you how I got to that place. Full disclosure on everything, the journey, if you want to learn how everything came to be. I think the marketing manager saw our stuff out maybe at Four Seasons, or met me at Four Seasons, knew of us doing things, and she was opening this gourmet high-end market, and she called, she said, hey, Tom, would you be interested? We're looking for someone to do chocolate. I'm like, at that point, we were still doing graphic design, but little by little. And right. I thought, we had all this stuff left over from Christmas. I'm like, yeah, I'll come. I went on a Saturday, put out a big table, and sold everything. I had nothing for Sunday, and it was absolutely amazing. So she said, well, you want to come back? I'm like, I'll be back next Friday. So that was 2010, and we're still there to this day. So what was the other question you asked? Oh, so yes, we have the 2 places, and then the internet I consider as another entity, I guess, because the right. And so yeah, I forget the nature of your question. I'm so sorry.
That's right. I don't remember it either.
So where are we going with the whole thing?
So we're talking about, so you've got but the kitchen you're in right now is in New Hope, right? Is in the other.
No, the sad thing is we're 30 minutes from both locations, which is, it's hard. We're going there now 2-3 times a week. That's what this morning, going there. So right. It's getting, I don't know if we're on some kind of the cusp of something happening, or is it COVID? Everybody's coming out. I'm hand piping 5,000 to 7,000 shells a week, filling 4,800. And so
that was it. Everybody's reminded us we were supposed to talk about macaroons.
And the story, the macaron. Yeah. So let me tell you about that. So Ellen was one of the beautiful people in my life who I met butlering truffles around on Mother's Day, Four Seasons, many years ago. We became friends, and I did all our holiday parties, and I told her we were going to Paris. We had this trip planned. She said, oh, Tom, before you go, you've got to go to this place. And she goes, give me a couple minutes. And she was like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. She's looking for this book. She said, this place called La Durée. You have to go there, and you have to get their macaron. And I said, what are they? She's like, oh, you look in the book. And she showed me the beautiful green awning of La Durée and these beautiful little colored hamburgers. I thought, okay, well, we'll check it out. Thank you, Ellen, very much. We're walking on the Champs-Élysées, and lo and behold, Ellen's book came to life in front of me. I'm like, oh my God, this is the place Ellen told us about. So we walked in, and I saw the beautiful display, the rainbow display of the macaron, and we were like, that's all we did for the rest of the 8 days. We ate macarons. We had every patisserie we could find. We went, and I loved them. I came back literally obsessed. It took me 6 months, 3,000 macaron later to figure out, I think I could do this. Because when I was doing it, there wasn't a lot of stuff on the internet then or Instagram of anybody doing this.
Right.
So I just had to figure out how the hell these things work and the egg whites and the whole concept, and figured it out.
How long do you age them?
We can only crack things on a Monday, so a couple days, you know. They do work better if you age them longer. It's true. I've been there, done that. I can say, yes, aged egg whites work better.
And where do you get your almond flour from?
Almond flour, almond ready.
You do? Okay.
Yep, California. But the egg, when you age the egg whites, and when you pour them out, it's almost like just a thick liquid gold. When they're not aged, they're the egg albumin, I don't know what it's called, but they just plop into the bowl, kind of, you know what I mean? But
right.
After they're aged, it's like they all melt together, and the proteins kind of break down, I think, and it's pretty good, amazing.
Yeah. So a couple months back,
yes,
somewhere in COVID, you did this guy.
Oh my God.
That went a little viral.
Isn't that crazy?
I saw it everywhere.
I know. I was working one day, and my phone started getting all these things on. What the hell? And Chris Harvey sent me a message or something. He's like, dude, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. And I looked, and it was a slider. Yeah, Valrhona had one of the biggest hits of the static image or something. It was crazy. Oh my God. So
because they didn't take a lot. Because they didn't take a lot of time to do. Because like each one of those takes probably 2 minutes.
Well, it's ridiculous because I have a video and I have to there's so many things that I want to do and get out there, but I just can't get it all done. But yeah, we had this idea for this slider when we kind of first started, but I didn't want to use fondant. I didn't want to use things that I could color. When Valrhona came out with their strawberry inspiration and the passion fruit chocolates, I thought, oh my God, this is the time. So I make the cheese with passion fruit, squeegee it real thin, and then cut them in squares, and it's kind of crazy, yeah. And then, the bagel, the baby bagel, all these things, we post it, and people come, and it's kind of crazy. It works.
They seem like a fun idea in the kitchen until you have to do 10,000 of them, right?
Yeah, well, people want the sliders all the time, and so I'm getting questions now. Are you doing it for Memorial Day? What's Memorial Day? So
that's coming up.
Yeah, so we have basically a week to put it together. So we'll see. I think we're gonna do it, but you're right. Each one takes a lot, and you make 1,000 at a pop. That's a lot of minutes. It's crazy. And everything has to be tempered. The ketchup, which is really the raspberry and the strawberry,
right.
Temper it, keep it in temper, and squish out and just enough. And
what's your favorite thing that you make in the kitchen right now? What's the one thing that gets you totally jazzed when it's the day to make that?
I think caramel. I again, self-taught, but I took classes with Chris Harvey and Melissa Koppel, and but some of the things that I learned on my own are kind of rewarding. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but a dry caramelization, I read about it or whatever, but getting recipes that are completely what the hell am I doing, and burning things and wrecking things, and that gives me great pleasure. And then I got a Savage, the 25-pound caramel pot that they arm, because I thought, my God, I can't constantly do this. So, and now it sits behind me. It has a leak. The oil's leaking out, and I have to go back to doing it by hand again. And God. So I do love it. I did love it. I don't know if you asked me in a week if I still love making the caramel, but
what's the one thing that, so you're constantly innovating, right? You're innovating from because you're taking classes. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you're
Yeah.
innovating, but like, what's the thing that like you were positive was going to like sell out at the market, and people were looking at you like, what were you think, Tom? What were you thinking? This is like awful.
That's easy. I love anisette, and as a kid, with the Salvadora anisette cookies, you dump them in your coffee. Freaking love those things and soak it till it just plop back down in the coffee. So I thought I'm going to do a macaron with star anise. It's going to be great. The black, it's going to be so cool. Licorice, the flavor. Lauren's like, I don't think so. I'm like, Laura, everyone loves it. Everyone loves anisette. She's like, what the hell? No. I said, all right, get it out of your system, do it, go make 1,000 and whatever. So I probably ate 800 of them myself. But I do love that. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. That's a good question. Not everything is going to be, a home run.
What's next on the radar for Shasha?
What's next?
By the way, I finally pronounced it correctly. It took me
Shasha.
like 10 years. Yeah, it took me like 10 years until I look at me like Sciascia.
No, I'm proud of you. That is good. You did good.
I practiced. I actually practiced this morning for a little bit.
That's really good. Brian, honestly, I think we're at some kind of crossroads. Like I make everything myself, and I'm proud of that. It's like I'm making it for you, for your family. I'm making. That's how it started, and that's where it is, and I love it. But if the pace continues, I think it's time to expand. I mean, 4 can become 8, probably easy. So I think we're at,
what do you mean by expand? You mean to like expand with another location?
A bigger facility. We're decent here. We have like 5 freezers now and good space, but I think, and I don't do wholesale. I mean, I get asked every weekend or every couple times a month or whatever. And I hate saying no, but that's not who I want to be right now. I want to do it because I love it. I don't want to do it because I have to, and it's wholesale. And we do events. We do 5 or this week we had like 5 events, like showers and things like that, custom. And the graphic design that we do, people love that because we can take their invitation and customize, match, and all that stuff is like a bonus. So in my mind, I have this great thing like, oh my God, we're going to have the pastry shop, the chocolate shop, big glass thing, and then a retail space out front so people can see, we can have classes. I think that's probably what's going to happen, but how do we get there? I mean, look, everything had 9/11, our business changed, and then COVID changed, it caused us to change. So I think maybe now it's time for us to make that change on our own and no, God forbid, any more tragedies or, oh my God.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you were about to tell a story. So go ahead. Your stories are better than my questions.
I feel really bad because I wanted to send this to you yesterday. This is probably like an emotional thing for me. This is coconut macaron. Do you like coconut, by the way? Okay.
I don't like anise.
You won't get that.
Don't send me the anise macaroons because I won't eat them.
All right, you won't. But I will. I promise I'll send this out next week. So these are coconut macaroons, the American version.
Right.
I helped my mom make these when, dude.
I get it.
When I was little. So anyway, I would do the egg whites, and after she passed
You want me to talk?
away,
You want me to talk for a minute? I'll talk for a minute. I can always talk for a minute.
No, I can get it out. I can get it out. After she passed away, about 2 weeks after she passed away, in March of 2016, I started making her recipes, and I made a sheet cake that was 9 by 13, and I ate the whole thing in like 3 days. I'm like, oh my God, Lauren's like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. Maybe this is therapy. This is good. So I started making the coconut macs, and I make these every week. So my mom's with me, you know what I mean? She's next to me, and so that's pretty cool. I think that's more important to me than the caramel. So yeah.
So that's your favorite?
Yeah, I forgot about that whole thing. So yes. I'm not going to like this caramel bit. I'm telling you till I get the but I'm not a mechanical guy and you have to take the motor off and like, it's not going to happen. I don't know what the hell, unless you have somebody who's like, Tom, I can get somebody there. So.
Me? No. Like, I'm not coming down to help because
Oh, I
like
know.
then two of us will stare at the thing and go, "What the f are we gonna do?
Right.
We're gonna call somebody else."
Right.
Like, full disclosure, we're getting my house ready for sale, right? And I've had this cabinet that's been broken for like 3 years,
Right.
right? And we're listing it this week, and what Chris is like, we got to get it fixed, and I'm like,
What are you gonna do?
what do you mean by we? Like, we? She's like, well, you're in charge of that. And she walks off. And so I call my friend John, who is mechanically inclined. I'm like, John, look, I got like 3 projects that I don't know how to do.
Right.
And he's like, I'll be over in an hour. So like, really, I stood there handing him tools like I used to do when I was little. You know, like,
what?
Here, what do you need? Here's a screwdriver. Cool. There you go. Does that work?
Right.
No, Brian, I wanted a flathead.
Right.
Okay, hold on.
My 2 brothers and my father are so mechanical. They can build houses. They can from scratch. And I got none of it. I just got the artistic part of it because my dad does furniture and they're really great carpenters. And so, whatever.
But I can temper chocolate.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
And I don't think he could have. I don't think, like, if somebody put a bowl of chocolate on the counter in that kitchen,
Right.
I would have had it tempered in like 6 minutes. I think it would have taken him like never.
There you
I
go.
don't think it would have gotten done. So
take that.
I won
right?
that fight.
Right.
Pow!
Right.
Hey, because I asked this question to everybody, and we're getting close on time, and I know
Yes.
you're busy. You and Lauren go to the movies. Well, you can go to the movies again soon, hopefully. You're in line. You get the big tub of popcorn. You get the vat of Diet Coke or whatever you get. Which mass market candy do you get out of the case?
I think you know the answer. It's a Mounds bar. Dark chocolate coconut. Love it. I don't know if they're the same with what they taste like today, but
I may have stolen a couple out of my daughter's Halloween candy bar. I think they're the same.
Yeah.
I like the Almond Joys though, but the Almond Joys would be better if they were in dark.
Right? With the almond, and it's definitely milk.
Yeah, so like his Almond Joy, it's better that he did it in dark. Like, it's better.
That stuff looks really good, by the way. So.
Yeah, hold on. Can I flip it? It's still sitting here.
Oh my God. That's fantastic.
I was supposed to do something with it today, and I've just been busy. So
that's great.
Hey, that's all the questions I had.
Thank you.
I didn't have any more.
This is great. I'm sorry. I have it up on my email. You asked me in April, and I said no, but I think you emailed again like December. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't get back to Brian. So every day I see, I didn't get back to Brian again. So
you don't need to do that. Now you've done it, so now you don't have to feel badly about it. You didn't have to feel badly about it anyway. You got a business to run.
I enjoyed this so much, and thank you, and I really appreciate
thanks for being a part of this project. This project, like I said before, has been awesome for me, and like it's really inspiring for me to get to spend time with people that are so passionate about what they do, and you are definitely on that list. And a quick story about Tom. So Tom came up for a class, and our chef got a little behind. Is that a fair way to put it?
A little bit.
And he kind of like does this whole like, do you think anybody could come in, either stay a little late tonight or come in a little early tomorrow morning? And Tom volunteered to do both. And Tom and one other person really got that class caught. Like, it was going to be a train wreck.
I love classes. The class with Chris Harvey was so amazing. So many amazing people that I still am friends with and love today. It's amazing. So to your credit, to Tom's credit,
well,
keep doing them.
We try. I mean, I think that's one of the cool things. I mean, like, we're trying to talk about like what does it look like post-COVID, and we're still figuring some of that stuff out. But I mean, again, like, for people that haven't seen it, this room, which doesn't look like it right now, is really designed to teach. Now there's a big television monitor over there, which just isn't the same. But
no, it's the perfect workspace. It's great.
So hey. What chocolate are you using these days? Will you tell us?
Oh yeah, God, Valrhona. I use a lot of Valrhona, but some Falkland and Barry Callebaut or Cocoa Berry. Yeah, my house blend is a mix. There's so many things that I like about so many different things that I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Tom.
Thank you so much.
Get to work. You got a bunch of stuff to sell.
Is this where I X out?
This is where you get to hit the X and I hang around for just a minute. Oh, I didn't. Hold on. Before you go, plug. You got to plug your website, Instagram, all of it. Plug it.
You know what? I'm not good at that stuff. But everybody who's been here, you follow us on Instagram or whatever, then.
Well, they might follow me on Instagram, Tom. They might not follow you. So it's Shasha Confections, SCIA.
Right.
Is it shashaconfections.com?
Correct. Yeah.
And it's Shasha Confections on Instagram.
Yep.
And
Facebook, I don't know. You just look it up, I guess.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
And you can order on your website and have it delivered.
Yeah, you can. And we're talking about a lot of stuff is actually still sold out since Mother's Day. But how do you deal with the summer heat? It's getting really hot. We're on the fence. TBD.
You'll figure it out.
Yes.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, buddy.
We'll see you soon. Bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye.